Good afternoon, Ms. Ralarala.
Good afternoon, CJ.
Are you well?
I'm well, and how are you?
I'm fine, thanks. Have you been here before?
No, I haven't.
You have not applied before?
No, I haven't.
Okay, then I must know you from somewhere else. You look very familiar. You obtained a BUris degree from the University of Transkei and then an LLB from the University of the Western Cape.
Yes, CJ.
And then started a legal career in 1997 as a prosecutor.
Yes.
Worked your way up there through the district court, regional court, until you were a regional court prosecutor.
Correct, CJ.
Then a control prosecutor, district and regional courts. What does that mean?
You control the district court, the prosecutors. You guide them in respect of the matters that they be dealing with. Our situation in Khayelitsha was unique because there was only one control prosecutor for both the district court as well as the regional court. So I had to do controlling of both the district court as well as the regional court.
And Khayelitsha was where you had helped establish a sexual offences court?
Yes, CJ.
Then you became a magistrate in late 2005.
2005, yes.
And rose through the ranks there as well until you became a regional magistrate in 2015.
Correct, CJ.
Which you still are now.
Yes.
You have, where? In the Western Cape?
I'm in the Western Cape in Wynberg Regional Court.
All right. And you acted in the High Court between April 2022 until September 2023?
Yes, CJ. And I went back last term, so I'm still there this term as well.
Oh, all right. And how long does your acting stint amount to then?
It's, when I checked, it was about 65 weeks.
65 weeks. All right. And during that time, you've done civil work and criminal work and everything else in between?
Yes, I've done mostly civil work and a bit of criminal work.
You did do civil work in the regional court as well?
I did do civil work in the district court as well as in the regional court. And I'm still in the civil court, in the regional court, before I came to, I went to the High Court to act last time.
Okay. You've written judgments in the High Court?
Yes, CJ, I have.
How many?
And I calculated it is now 67 judgments that I've written.
Any of them reported?
3 of those have been reported.
Okay. Well, I don't want to assume anything. You've sat in motion courts?
I've sat in motion court.
Civil trials? Civil
trials. I've sat in
civil appeals,
full court and full bench appeals. And I've also dealt with pre-trials. I did opposed and unopposed motions, and chamber work, of course.
You said you've done just a bit of criminal work in the High Court.
In the High Court, I did a bit of criminal. I did about a few criminal trials. I think this one that I'm busy with is the 4th one. I've done criminal appeals, dealt with petitions and criminal matters, and yes, and reviews.
Do you have any outstanding judgments that are older than 3 months?
No, CJ, I don't.
Okay. And you reckon that you are ready for permanent appointment in the High Court now?
Yes, I do. I believe that I'm ready. The time that I've spent there had readied me.
All right. Although the GCB thinks that you're a bit thin on civil law. Well, they don't say that, they say the candidate's experience of civil law appears to be more limited, whatever that means. What do you have to say to that?
I disagree in that regard. I have been exposed to civil law in the district court. I've dealt with motion court in the district court, opposed and unopposed motions. I've also dealt with trials. And when I got the opportunity to act in the regional court for 1 year and 6 months, I went into an office where there was only one regional magistrate. And at the time, that meant that I would deal with criminal law as well as civil law, inclusive of divorce matters. And when I went to the regional court permanently in 2015, I continued to deal with criminal work as well as civil work. Since I came back from the High Court last year in October 2023, I dealt with civil work. I'm the only person that deals with the civil court in the regional court in Wynberg currently, until I was invited once again by the AJP to come and act last term.
All right. AJP?
Thank you very much, Chief Justice. Ms. Ralarala, I note from your CV that you have attended a substantial number of in-service training and courses during your, in the performance of your work as a magistrate.
Yes, AJP.
How did you find your time at the Western Cape High Court in terms of the support provided to you by the permanent judges?
I must say that initially when I arrived at the High Court, it was a daunting experience. And when I arrived there, I was fortunate to be received by senior judges who were helpful to me. And although the workload was more than the usual that I know, and the complexity of the matters was also more than that I was used to in the regional court, they assisted me and held my hand, and I'm grateful to that, because now I believe that I have acquitted myself in the regional court through that in the High Court, rather, through the assistance that I received when I arrived in the High Court.
But you were there in 2022 and you came back subsequent to a short break.
Yes, AJP.
How did that assist you when you came back in terms of your growth as an acting judge, when you came back after 2022?
Of course, when I came back, it was not the same as it was initially when I went to the High Court. So when I came back this time around, the work was more familiar, and I would say that I was more used to the kind of work that I was exposed to. And I also got to do more work, like I said earlier on, that I also dealt with pre-trials. So that was only when I came back last term that I had to do pre-trials.
You were also involved in Sajay training. Did you train magistrates?
Yes, AJP. I had an opportunity to train magistrates. I think it was 2019, and it was in respect of sexual offences, because in the regional court for some time I had been involved in sexual offences. And when I was asked by the regional court president at the time to assist in that regard, so I got involved in the training.
You had exposure to both civil and criminal work during your acting stints?
Yes, AJP, I have been exposed to both criminal work as well as civil work. I've been exposed to, I dealt with crime in respect of trials. I dealt with murder trials. I also dealt with rape trials. And currently I'm busy with a matter where the Poker Act is involved. So as I said earlier on, the total number of trials that I've dealt with, including the one that I'm doing now, is 4 in the High Court.
Am I correct that none of your judgments were overturned as at yet? Or what is the position?
As far as I know, AJP, none of my judgments were overturned. I even tried to speak to the Chief Registrar to find out if there are any of my judgments that I might not know of that had been taken on appeal. So she told me that she couldn't find any of those.
Thank you, Chief Justice.
Thank you, AJP. Mr. Boschhoff?
Thank you, CJ. Afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Are you well?
Commissioner, I'm well, and how are you?
Oh, yeah, very good, thanks. So the Western Cape Division has quite a heavy administrative law caseload, given its location with seat of Parliament in the province, etc. So I'm just going to ask you, my first question is going to be kind of an administrative law question, and then there'll be a second question. So it has to do with procurement law and supply chain. So, and in particular bid validity periods. So, say for argument's sake, a provincial department puts a tender out, and its bid validity period ends today, the 15th of October. On the 14th of October, they realize, look, the bid evaluation or the bid adjudication committees are a bit pressed for time, they need to deliberate more, whatever, for whatever reasons, they need to extend the bid validity period. So they write to all the bidders, seeking their consent to extend the validity period. On the 16th of October, so the day after the bid validity lapses, well, as advertised, on the 16th of October, they receive positive responses in writing from all the bidders saying, yes, we're perfectly fine with that. In your view, what is the status of that bid? Has it lapsed, notwithstanding the consent on the 16th, or has the 16th breathed life into this bid?
I think I would venture to say, Commissioner, that the consent, which I would say is unanimous in respect of all the bidders, would then breathe life into the bid.
Okay, and then my next question is a general civil procedure question. And it's just, what is your understanding of the current test relating to the appealability of interim orders?
In my view, interim orders appealable are not appealable, rather, in that there is still to be a final interim order, a final order that must follow after the interim order was granted. So it will only be the final order that will have to be appealable, because if we are going to let the interim order be appealable, or the interim interdict be appealed, then we'll be dealing with that matter in piecemeal fashion, which is not advisable.
Can I just a follow-up on that? And what if the issues at stake in the subject matter of the interim order of such importance, or the rights affected, so that the interest of justice dictate that, well, maybe a higher court should relook this because the possible harm that would be caused is so severe if it's just left until... Would you think that would potentially offer an alternative?
I would think that if that would be in the interest of justice, and then that order should be appealable.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, CJ.
Any questions for the candidate commissioners? Oh, it does not appear that we have any questions for you. Any more questions for you, Ms. Ralarala?
Thank you, CJ.
You are free to go.
Thank you.